Hey everyone, Kevin here. As you can see, I'm rocking my BlogVault t-shirt that Akshat gave me at WordCamp Europe. One of the things that happened after WordCamp Europe in Paris last month was a few days after it, and there was an announcement about WooCommerce doubling their prices, and that upset a lot of people. So that's what I'd like to talk about in this video, and I'll maybe jump to the end point that I'd like to make and then work backwards. I think that WooCommerce in many ways is too big. It has a monopoly on the e-commerce market for WordPress, and I believe that we need a good alternative, a viable alternative to WooCommerce. So that's what I'd like to talk about in this video. So going back to what happened, it was announced, the first time I read about it was on WP Tavern, June the 20th. Jeff Chandler posted about the fact that renewal prices were going to be doubled. So what would happen in the past was that someone would buy an extension for WooCommerce, a plugin that works with WooCommerce, and they would buy the extension at 100% of the cost. In the second year and subsequent years, you would get the renewal cost would go to 50%. So say a plugin is $100 the first year, second year's $50, third year's $50, and so on. But what WooCommerce have announced is that you're not going to get that discount anymore. So the second year's going to be $100, third year $100, and so on. Now, there's been a lot of complaints about this. Some people have supported the actions, some people have not. I think from an outside point of view, the first thing is the fact that WooCommerce just kind of handled this badly. And this isn't the first time that WooCommerce have done this. WooThemes have always acted, you know, from a PR point of view, they've always been really, you know, shoot themselves in the foot with lots of decisions that they make. I realise that they have tough decisions to make, but, you know, many of the decisions they have made, you know, the announcement and the way they've handled it has been really bad, and they kind of just sprung this on their customers without any warning. So lots of people saw their, you know, just their DDs, and the direct debit come out for the extension that was due for renewal, and the price, you know, the cost had just doubled. Now, if you spend a lot of money on extensions, you know, you could see costs going from a few $100s to over $1,000 or perhaps even more. So if you, on the thread on WP Tavern that Jeff Chandler announced, there's a lot of people complaining, moaning, really unhappy about it. And I can understand why. A lot of people talked about the fact that some of their tickets aren't even responded for 3 or 4 days, and then, you know, the response doesn't even help them with their situation. So they're unhappy with the service already, and now the prices are being doubled. So if you're unhappy with a service and then you're being told you need to pay twice the price, then it's, you know, you're obviously going to be pissed off, which is why so many people are voicing concerns about it. As I said, WooThemes, or WooCommerce as they're now called, but previously they were called WooThemes, and they got out of the theme market because WooCommerce was so successful. They did this in the past as well. They had an unlimited license at one point, and people would pay for an unlimited license. They can use as many themes and plugins and, you know, the whole collection on as many websites as they wanted. And people paid extra money for that instead of paying on a yearly basis. WooThemes later just announced that no, they were scrapping that, and those who had paid for that were just getting transferred on a yearly basis. Now, that at the time annoyed a lot of people. One of the things that didn't get a lot of attention, in my opinion should have, was the way that they closed their affiliate program as well. You know, I remember when WooThemes was just first starting out, and I got the emails, oh, you're a blogger, please promote our themes. You get lifetime commissions as soon, you know, as long as we are trading, you will get lifetime commissions. You'll make money for ages, blah, 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 blah. So I promoted them, and then one day they just sent an email, we're closing our affiliate program, thanks. Now, the thing is, when they offer commissions on a recurring basis rather than a CPA basis, when they close the program, you get stung. So if you know, for example, in the hosting world, it's more common to pay by CPA. So for example, you refer a customer, you get $100, bang, that's it. You've referred the customer, that's the money. But what they did was gave you a percentage of earnings. I can't remember if it was 20% or something. From an internet marketing point of view, when you pick the recurring basis, you need to make the money over the long haul. You know, you're not going to make your money back right away. You're hoping to make your money back over 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So when WooThemes closed their affiliate program, people like myself who helped the company progress and helped push customers to them, we probably lost thousands of dollars over the years from that decision. Whereas if they just paid us a set fee at the beginning, you know, it would have been okay. The fact that they paid recurring and then closed it. Again, this is sour grapes from me, but I'm just trying to illustrate the fact that many of their decisions have been like this, where they've not really discussed anything with their customers or the affiliates. And I mean, I do recognize as a business, certain things within the structure can hold a company back, and they need to increase prices or they need to change the structure. They need to make decisions that are hard and decisions that are not going to be, they're not going to be popular with everyone, and they've had to make it. So I understand that side of things. There's a really good article about the price hike from Donica. Donica McGloin, I was going to say, yeah, McGloin. I apologise if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Donica. He wrote a really good article on WP Maya, Jean Galier's blog, called The Biggest Opportunity in WordPress History. And he talks about the fact that this is actually an opportunity for another company to come in, perhaps a company with a lot of money, and perhaps they can offer good support. Perhaps they could fork the plugin. Perhaps they can maybe just take some of the extensions and say, okay, we'll develop this from now on, we'll offer support. I think it would have to be a big company because of the size of WooCommerce and extensions and the amount of support that you would have to provide, etc. But I like that way of thinking. I like that way of thinking that as as a community, or as the WordPress market, when things aren't popular, when things aren't going the way that the community wants, for example, the cost of the most popular e-commerce plugin doubling its prices, then really we need to look at alternatives. Someone needs to take this as an opportunity and start developing an alternative solution. I do think though that something needs to happen, whether it's a fork, whether it's other companies offering support. I think looking at the WordPress community as a whole, I think that we need a viable alternative to WooCommerce. Now, I'm not saying this, I know I said about the affiliate program, I've got no malice against WooCommerce. WooCommerce is a fantastic plugin. Some of the extensions and themes out there for it are amazing. So I don't really have any ill will towards them. It is a great solution. But I do think that if you take a step back and look at the WordPress market as a whole, I think we do need a good alternative. On their homepage, they say that they power 28% of all online stores. Bizarrely, they link to an article from BuiltWith that actually says no, they power 12%. So it looks like they power over 12% of all online shops, not just WordPress websites, all online shops, and that's millions of websites. If you look over at WordPress.org, there's over 3 million active installations. So this isn't just people that have downloaded it. This is active installations that are currently running it and using it to power their shop. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, there are alternatives to WooCommerce. There are other e-commerce plugins for WordPress, and that's true, but they're not really viable alternatives if you look at it, not really. As I said, WooCommerce has over 3 million active installations. WP e-commerce has got over 30,000 active installations. That's quite popular, but in comparison, 30,000 against over 3 million. And Jiggle Shop, which was what WooCommerce was a fork from, that only has over 7,000 installations. And it's easy to see why this has happened, WooThemes came in, took Jiggle Shop, and they had the money, the team members, the developers, to push it forward, start developing it more, and they took it forward. But here's the thing, it's kind of got too big for its boots. It's kind of got a monopoly. If you, I don't know if you guys remember a few weeks ago, in fact, I'll get you the exact number. Google fine, 2.4 billion euros. Google got fined 2.4 billion euros by the European Union or Commission, whatever it was, because they were abusing their market position. They were not displaying the services of rivals. Instead, when someone was searching for something, rather than getting whatever the service was, a directory or another internet service, they were getting pushed towards Google services, and they have declared that this was a complete abuse of their power, and they were fined 2.4 billion euros, which is an insane amount of money. But it also shows you how much money Google makes that they can afford to pay it. Now, obviously, there's some parallels that can be drawn, because WooCommerce is the market leader. The problem is that WooCommerce is so big now that it's just going to get bigger and bigger. If you are a new WordPress user or a new shop owner, you're going to look at lots of different solutions. Now, if, say, for example, you've got an idea for your online shop, you're like, I want to do A, B, C, and D, you might find that none of the solutions available for WordPress do that. WooCommerce doesn't do it. Jiggleshop, WP eCommerce, or any other plugin out there, they don't do it, But the chances are that you'll find a WooCommerce extension that does it, or you'll find a WooCommerce theme that does it. And this is the thing, developers go where the users are, they go where the traffic is, and they go where the money is, and it makes sense to do that. So if you're a developer, why would you spend time developing a product for something like Jiggleshop that has 7,000 active users when you could develop for a plugin such as WooCommerce that has over 3 million? It's a no-brainer. The problem is, the new person then, they start using WooCommerce, which is a great product. Again, they start using it because they can do anything with it. There's thousands of plugins for WooCommerce, thousands of extensions, thousands of themes that you can use with it. And, when you go to that system, then you're tied into that system. If you build an online shop with WooCommerce, you buy 5 or 6 plugins or maybe 10 plugins. I've heard of people saying that they've got 30, 40 different WooCommerce extensions to do different things, toggle things, change the tax, all these different things that they need to do. And you get tied into the ecosystem, and it becomes pretty much impossible to move to a different platform. Maybe impossible is not the right word. Perhaps the term pain in the ass is a better term, because if you've got your website set up and you've got it running a certain way, then it's going to be pretty much impossible to move to, for example, Jiggleshop or any other solution. Firstly, because you're tied into the WooCommerce platform, and then you need to try and migrate the data, but more about getting all those little tweaks and all those little features that you got with WooCommerce. As I said, there's so many plugins for WooCommerce. How can you duplicate that? How can you match what that's offering? Now, if you're looking for to start an online shop, obviously you've got Shopify, Magento, all those things. But if you want to do it with WordPress, and there's lots of viable reasons to do that, WooCommerce is the one I would recommend as well. It is the best plugin, and it's got the most themes and the most plugins. But the problem is, the new user will then go to WooCommerce. More people will be using it, so the developers will develop more themes and more plugins for it, and WooCommerce becomes a better, richer product. The reason I think that this is bad is because, well, really, look at the price hike recently. They can do anything they want now. They've doubled the prices, and there's no real viable alternative for customers to move to. And this is the thing, you're really at the mercy of Automattic. They've got you by the balls, if you want to look at it that way. There's nothing you can do. If they decide to double prices again next year, what are you going to do? You're going to migrate to another system? Perhaps. I had a small discussion about this with Saeed from WP Beginner, and we just kind of briefly talked about, I sent a few tweets on Twitter, and he said that, it's about value. But my point was that value is subjective. If you're making millions of dollars every year with your e-commerce shop, seeing costs from, go from $1,000 to $2,000, it's nothing. But if you only make $10,000 a year or $5,000 a year, perhaps it's only a side project, but, it's important for you. Perhaps, it's a side income for you. Maybe you're only selling ebooks or some t-shirts or art. And seeing costs double from $500 to $1,000 or $1,000 to $2,000 could be the difference between running your shop and closing it down, or just completely abandoning WooCommerce altogether and looking towards something like Shopify or something like that. Again, the market will dictate what happens in the future, but I do think that we need a viable alternative. if you look at other parts of WordPress, this isn't really happening. For example, I use WP Rocket to cache my blog, kevinmuldoon.com. So I use that to speed up my website, cache pages, improve performance, which in turn helps SEO. Now, I'm very happy with WP Rocket. I pay $39, or in fact, it was like a 10% discount, so I got it less. It was like $35. So I pay that per year. In fact, they've got a renewal discount as well, so it's very cheap for me to maintain it. I'm very happy with it. But say, for example, next year they decide we're going to put it up from $39 to $200, and I'm like, I like it, but I've also got W3 Total Cache, I've got WP Super Cache, I've got Comet Cache, I've got all these alternatives. And this is the thing, it's the same with other parts of WordPress. You know, if you're using Contact Form 7, which is free, maybe you go out with Gravity Forms, but there's all these there's dozens of fantastic contact form plugin solutions. It's the same with social media sharing solutions. Yoast, or the WordPress SEO plugin, well, it used to be called Yoast, it's now called WordPress SEO. It's probably arguably the best SEO solution for WordPress, but still you've got all-in-one SEO, and there's a few other ones out there that if for any reason you didn't like Yoast or wasn't doing what you wanted, you could move to them. But within the e-commerce world in WordPress, WooCommerce is the de facto standard now, and there's not any other viable alternative. And this leads new WordPress users to use WooCommerce. They get tied into the system, they buy a few extensions, it does what it needs, what they need it to do, but they're at the mercy of WooCommerce. Now, I've rabbled on a little bit, I know I have, but you think at the end of this, I would have a solution. I don't. I do realise, the way that, this feeds, new people coming into to use WordPress and to go into WooCommerce, more developers start developing themes and plugins, WooCommerce becomes better, more people start using WooCommerce and less people start using alternatives. Normally what you would do, what you'd like to do is tell people to vote with their wallet, vote with their feet, and go, well, if they're going to double prices and you're not happy with it, use something else. But I don't think there's a viable alternative in the e-commerce world. So if I had to make a suggestion, I think Donica's suggestion that perhaps, someone forks it, or perhaps someone, takes the plugins away and offers support, a cheaper price. I mean, there are like GPL clubs where people, rip off plugins under the GPL banner, and they offer it for free or at a reduced cost. Sometimes that's okay, but a lot of the time I think it's not WooCommerce that's suffering, it's the little guy developing plugins that's getting screwed over. But really, I'm hoping the market changes a little bit. I've got no problems with, at the end of the day, I've got no problems with Automattic. If they want to double their prices, they can. They handled it badly, but if they want, it's their plugin, it's their extensions. If they want to, start doubling prices, then do it, because they know people will pay it. They know they've got the market position. They know they've got a monopoly on it, and people will pay it. Until there is a viable alternative, if you use WooCommerce, you're kind of locked into the system, and I think you need to pay what they want you to pay. So I'd love to hear what you think about this issue. There's been some good discussions about this on WP Tavern and WP Maya and a few other places. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you think about this. I think that, I don't know, I mean, it's as good as it is having such a great product, WooCommerce available for WordPress. I don't know if it's good for the WordPress community to have one dominant solution in, for example, one contact form that, does everything, one caching plugin that does everything, one social media sharing plugin. I think the beauty of WordPress is that there's always alternatives. There's always free alternatives. There's always premium alternatives. But really, there's no real alternative to WooCommerce now if you want to build a good online shop. And this is the problem. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I would love to hear your view on this issue. I don't think there's an easy answer to it, but I think it's an interesting topic, and I think it's something we might be discussing over the next few years. I do appreciate you guys watching. Please do leave a comment, and until next time, take care.